Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today, we are talking about Pharah. Woohoo! Pharah is, of course, very important in the meta. She is an interesting hero. She can do a huge amount. She can do tons and tons and tons of really cool stuff. She can blow people the hell away, and she can get shut down. And the meta at the moment is kind of in flux. So I'm actually going to do something a little unorthodox. I'm going to actually go off full screen for that. Oh, no, pause this. To this, let's put this at full screen so I can show you guys. This is OneAmongstMany. This is a really cool website. These guys do like basically using data-driven analysis to understand Overwatch. I am a fiend for this kind of stuff. I love this kind of stuff. This report was published on the 6th. And so only a couple of days ago, and it was basically all about the start of Season 6. It was looking at what people are playing, what's winning, what's losing. This is all sort of used. I believe the information that they pull is just from the same API that stuff like Overbuff uses, Overbuff, Master Overwatch, those sorts of sites. So they're using the same sort of data sets to generate a bunch of graphs. And so you've got this mega graph. This mega graph's a little bit difficult to read because there's just so much on it, and it'll take a long time to go all the way through. But the interesting stuff is this. Big movers in the meta report. So the heroes that are being played more, for example, is, well, Junkrat. Unsurprisingly, like in Grandmaster, 32% increase in Junkrat play. I put that down more to actually Grandmaster players being a little bit bored, and so they want to experiment and sort of diversify. So they see that Junkrat's the new hot shit, and they all want to play it. So no surprise to see Junkrat sort of shooting up. But everywhere else, mostly like about 15 to 19% increase. So let's call it 17%. Increase, and then Bronze, not too much of a shift there. Roadhog also seeing a rise in pick rate, despite what everyone thought. And I fucking called this, guys. I said this repeatedly. Him being able to move and huff a paint can is not actually going to change too much. It changes quite a lot. It does change quite a lot. Like, just assuming that he's going to still be shit is... it does influence a lot. It actually influences a lot, especially with Winston and D.Va. Playing D.Va into a Roadhog is a nightmare. And then Doomfist has just gone down in popularity. No big surprise, no huge sort of shock there. He was the new hot thing, and now he's no longer the new hotness. And so, his popularity fades. The interesting stuff to look at, though, is stuff like this, which is these graphs. These are breakdowns of hero usage. Let me bring chat up as well. So chat can have a look. So these are basically like, hey, these are the heroes getting used. And, go away, Overwatch. These are, the hero pick rates, right? And Grandmaster's sort of an odd one out because everywhere else, Mercy's like huge, Mercy. And an interesting one that we're going to highlight today is Pharah. So this column here, Pharah, always sort of relatively high up there, not enormously. Platinum, relatively high up there, or actually second highest. Gold, second highest. Interesting. Is there any comment on the win rates? Top win rates, 52% win rate in gold, and is she even relevant here? 54% win rate in platinum. So the game that we're going to be looking at today, which is this one. Thank you, Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm is updating, by the way. This one is pretty much right on the border, right? It's right on the border of platinum. It's plat all the way through. You cut it in half and it says plat. No, you cut it in half and it says pretty much median curve, right? And so let's take a look at this, because if Junkrat does become meta, right, there's a couple of things that could happen at the moment in terms of relevance to picking Pharah, using Pharah, getting the most out of Pharah. And this is why I'm doing all of this lengthy preamble, because it's important to understand this kind of stuff. The importance is this. If the meta moves to where Junkrat takes up a DPS slot, that leaves you with one DPS slot to deal with the Pharah, because Junkrat can't really do it super well. Junkrat isn't great at dealing with it. Pharah is kind of like a hard counter. Like, you can, sure, use the bomb and jump up and then try and bomb her in the air and stuff like that, but it's really heavily weighted in the Pharah's sort of wheelhouse. So that only leaves one sort of main DPS counter to try and deal with it, which is going to be, a Soldier 76, maybe even a Widowmaker, but if it's a Pharmacy, Soldier 76 can't really deal with it on his own. And so suddenly you get this opening in the meta where you can have these comps that kind of swing back and forth or pull back and forth, and if you're running Pharmacy and the enemy team is running Junkrat, you could actually have a surprisingly easy time winning. So picking up Pharah at this point wouldn't actually be too bad of an idea, just to sort of give you some meta context. Especially also with heroes like Roadhog. If Roadhog starts coming back, Roadhog's shit against it. Reinhardt looking like he's coming back. Reinhardt and Zarya actually are coming back, and that's a little bit scary. But with the nerf to D.Va as well, Pharah just gets up and goes up and up and up and up and up. So Pharah looking pretty good at the moment. Otherwise, yeah, let's go through it. Bundy, long time sub, should be pretty good. And events make sure we see a nerf, yeah, exactly. Like the way I try and think of, like this is actually a really good sort of topic just while we're preambling. By the way, team comp looks okay, positioning looks alright, would be nice to see this being protected immediately, but hey, it's not. Perfectly happy with us spamming into the spawn, very, very good. We should be doing it, free ultimate charge, never turn it down. The way I think of it, the way I think of meta and balance and stuff is very simple. It's like Force is pushing things up and down. So D.Va getting nerfed pushes Pharah upwards, for example. If Soldier got nerfed, that will push Pharah upwards. If Widow gets buffed, that pushes pulls Pharah back down. And you just think of it as some weight sort of moving stuff back and forth. Orisa is a hero that we're seeing on the enemy team and is actually sort of creeping up. More and more people are playing Orisa. Pharah is extremely good against Orisa. Extremely good, because she has a very easy time getting around stuff. Very nice opening kill on the Soldier 76. Now, the key to Pharah, the most important skill on Pharah, is going to be target prioritization. You've got to know what order to kill things in to maximize your chance to kill everything, because the danger of Pharah is pretty simple. The danger of Pharah is this: if you're busy killing something else and someone has 3 pot shots on you, you're going to die. Like, Pharah operates outside of cover quite often. You jump down, you jump out of cover, you're shooting down at people, you're doing a bombing run basically, and you're leaving yourself exposed. So if you don't kill the targets that are going to kill you fastest, that's going to give you guys problems. And so I'm quite happy to see that we are prioritizing the Solid 76 here. Bit of a ballsy barrage and a little bit sort of... like, our aim sort of moved as if we were a hit scan. Even just sort of taking this situation, like, I like this little hop, I do like this pathway. But I'd say that you want to do one of 2 things if you're going to try and do this. Either you just go immediately for the barrage, or you go for the rockets. Now that we committed with the rockets, like, you got to think of it this way. Now that we committed with a rocket, the enemy knows where we are, or should have a good time, like an easy time figuring out where we are. Because we shot this down, oh, that's too thick, too thick. Because we shot this rocket down, the Soldier 76 now knows that, you know, there's a Pharah coming in from above. They have a Bastion, or had a Bastion at the very least, so that hit scan is going to know. I think the Bastion swapped to a Hanzo. It's going to come out from over here in a second. And now that we're committed to using these rockets, we've got to make sure that, like, all of our decisions are pretty spot on. We land a direct hit, and we're falling towards where he's going. We could probably still go for a second rocket here, and should maybe get the kill. The fact that we stopped for a barrage, and didn't sort of, you know, account for the pause in moment, just a minor error, but, you know, we've got to be careful with this sort of stuff. The second we barrage is like a full commitment. Barrage to me is sort of in the same vein as when Reinhardt charges into the backline of the enemy team. That's how I think of it. If your charge is going to put you in the back of the enemy team, then you don't do it. Barrage kind of does the same thing. You've just isolated yourself in the back of the enemy team. There's nothing that can support us here, nothing that can save us. We're going to get 1 kill, but it's not even the Mercy. And then, you know, the Orisa's going to shoot us down, definitely. Mercy can even gun us down. Like, this is going full commitment for a Soldier 76 that we didn't really need to fully commit for. So, slightly spotty. And the danger of doing stuff like this is that, sure, we traded, but this does give the enemy team an opening. This is a big chunk of your team's damage and mobility gone pretty quickly. Thank you, Dead Negator, as well. Hey. Zeta in chat, who is the Pharah main himself, best tip for Pharah ult is to one-shot and then instantly barrage. Yeah. Like, if you do that, then the enemy has no chance to sort of react. The danger is when you fire and then pause and then barrage. Because the enemy team has already placed you in the sort of where you are. It's very easy for them to just track and kill you, basically. It's almost like playing a stealth hero. You've got to sort of bide your time and get the kills quickly enough where the enemy team doesn't have a good chance to react. Here, we've got a good chance to do some nice and easy poke. We're doing good. Lodge is on his heal pad, we might as well just back away, take a moment. Like, that's actually an important cooldown to get out. If you can, you know, if you don't have to kill him. Killing him's nice, but if you get his cooldowns out, if you force him to use his healing, then you can go in and kill him in 4 seconds. Like, you could just bide your time, get healed back up by your Mercy, and then go back over in a couple of seconds, and then you know that he doesn't have a heal anymore, so you just have to land 2 rockets, 3 rockets, and go with that. This is a danger. We definitely don't want to get stuck doing this. I'm actually very glad to see that we don't get stuck doing this. This is a bad habit that I see teams do all the time, which is if you're facing an Orisa, and guys, for the love of God, if you're facing an Orisa, do not just stand in front of Orisa's barrier and try and engage them directly. Orisa can only do that. That's all she's good at. And as a result, she's very, very good at it. It's what she's built for. She just stands there and fights and fights and fights and fights and fights and fights and fights, and she'll win that fight. She's extremely good at it. And so, you know, especially with a team like Torbjorn, Pharah, McCree, you don't really tear through this barrier super quickly unless the Torbjorn gets in close and gets some good right clicks. McCree's already dead. We don't want to get stuck doing this. So it was good to see that we sort of pull away from this fight where we're just trading back and forth, really, and not really getting anywhere, and just giving them time to get some work done. And then we go in and get a kill. Now they've moved forward. Okay, this is a better barrage. Just because they had nothing that could really stop us. Oh, he got it. He did get it. Thank God. I was about to say, that broke my friggin' heart. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but it's just literally on the tip, and he does get stunned. He does get stunned, thank God. This barrage was a lot better. Just because there's nothing that could really stop us. And there's, like, 2 targets close together with a lot of other focus on them. So even though they know that they're there, we have enough burst to just end this fight, basically. Like, this is a fight 1, unless Mercy gets a peach of a res, which is possible, but I think she used it earlier. So we should be okay. Be very careful standing in that window, especially against a Hanzo. You're basically like framing them. They just have to shoot into that window and they're going to get a hit. So just be a little bit careful with that. Like, what I would like to see a little bit more is we have some cover we're not using. So how's best to explain this? Time for a picture. It's time for a picture. So if you think about Dorado from like a forward-on view for the attacking view, okay? Dorado looks like this. You got an arch, and there's this. Okay, I drew that wrong as well. Let's do it in blue. You got this great big fucking tower here, and then there's like the archway next to it, right? This great big tower, this is all cover for you to use in the air. You can actually bounce around it pretty effectively. If you just use it to bounce from side to side, and you can create a threat coming from sort of this angle, shooting down here, and also out here very, very easily, while still using that vertical cover. So you have like a space that you can sort of play with and occupy. The one thing you got to be careful with is stuff coming under you. And I'm not saying just like stay there full time, but it'd be nice like in these moments where we have a bit of a lull. You know, there's not too much happening. Instead of floating here, which is relatively in the open, we could probably just float a little bit further back towards that tower and use that tower to just peek in and out, rather than being completely out in the open begging for Hanzo to try and hit us with an arrow, for example. Nice, good damage. Did Hog use his hook before that barrage? Honestly, I don't think it has a huge bearing on the matter, just because that barrage would have done enough regardless to set up 2 kills. Like, if Hog hooks that, they're both already kind of taken enough damage by the time he reacts. They're already dead. This is a bit of a concern, though. Everyone's died. What killed everyone? What killed everyone? I was too busy talking about cover. Reinhardt's own foolishness seems to have killed him. What the fuck is Reinhardt doing? Reinhardt. What's going on there, buddy? Somehow Reinhardt ends up over there. Maybe he got hooked? I don't know. Your team went nuts, and you lose the first point. That's heartbreaking. This isn't really on us. We should just do as much damage as we can and then try and get out, so now would be a good time to conk blast, try and get out, but honestly, we're probably dead here. We can't really do anything. Worst feeling in the world when you look back and all your team's respawning. Feels bad, man. Feels pretty bad, man. Bit of coffee? So far, it hasn't looked too bad. Our target, like, again, I need to see more deep dives in the back, just to see how it goes. The biggest thing I want to focus on at the moment is target priority. Hey, thank you, Green Hell. For the stream, baby, as well. 9 months with a tier 2 sub. Oh, nice love, my man. Thank you so much for the support. Ooh. Okay. Let's talk about this. That was them messing up and not paying attention to the Orisa. Like, I'm okay with us doing this poke, but you notice, like, we get 2 rockets off, and then, like, Orisa notices. The first reaction we should have to this is to just left shift, and then, like, try and back up and get a conk blast off the roof and just get away. We should definitely just focus on establishing distance. Their team is very, very dangerous at close range with the Roadhog Orisa. Like, we want to just make sure we keep a little bit of distance. Very nice. Managing to catch the Mercy. We made heavy work of that. We made very heavy work of that. Okay, let's go back and see. Like a little bit of spam back into their team. That's fine. Catches the Mercy. More poor play by the Mercy than anything amazing by us. She dashed in front of the payload for some reason and took some hits and died. And it sucks for them. Okay. I am fine with us barraging here. We know that we're probably going to trade, and you're trading Barrage for Visor. That's worth. Visor is way more powerful. Visor is way more powerful. The problem is in the execution. Have you ever watched, like, I know it's a very popular series, so this is a relatively safe bet. Have you ever watched a show on the internet by a wonderful group called Team 4-Star called Dragon Ball Z Abridged? And in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I think it's like Vegeta is trying to shoot Frieza, and he's like blasting and blasting and blasting and blasting, and he's just missing non-stop. And you go, and the other characters go, why is he missing? And Piccolo goes, because he's shooting where he is and not where he's going to be. That's what's happening here. You're shooting... Like, watch this crosshair. And watch our crosshair movement. So, we start off when we pull back to where he is, because I'm guessing, you know, I can sort of write this off. Maybe it's an assumption that he's going to stop and turn and face towards us. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then we sort of get onto him. We don't want to be onto him. You want to be past him. Overwatch is a game where the netcode, in general, is actually very, very responsive to just leading the target ever so slightly. Leading ever so slightly. I've noticed this in general as I play a lot of Widow. Interesting. Don't know what's happening here. But leading the target ever so slightly is infinitely more effective, and this is doubly true with a projectile. Lead and just aim down in front of the target slightly. You want to be aiming basically where their feet are going, because you can't headshot with a rocket, and the sheer weight of the DPS of the barrage is going to kill the target no matter what. So, because you're in a DPS race, you're just going to guarantee that you're just constantly landing that damage. Don't get over fancy, don't try and land direct hits. Barrage is too random to land direct hits. Instead, we want to make sure that we are just focusing down that DPS where we need it to be. We get a bit lost here with our target priority, and we try and shoot Orisa, which is a shame, because we actually had a really good opening with this push here. Like, the Ana's doing a good job keeping us alive. We go up, we get this beauty of a rocket. Like, this is a fucking lovely rocket. This is gorgeous damage onto the Soldier 76. We set him up for a kill, basically. We go for another shot, okay. And now we sort of get stuck, and like, where we end up isn't too bad. We're out of line of sight of the Soldier 76, so Soldier can't kill us anymore. He is getting healed by the Mercy. There's not too much we can do about that, but we've landed in this awkward position. So now we have a choice. The Orisa can see us, and our team is, like, no one's pushing the payload. Our team is coming out now to contest it. We have a couple of choices here, and the choice that we make, unfortunately, is probably the worst one we could make, which is that we float upwards and out. Because all this is doing now is, and like, we seem to realize this immediately, is that Soldier can just shoot at us. Like, who are these guys all going to shoot at? There's a Reinhardt and a couple of others behind a shield, behind the payload in cover, or is it the Pharah slowly, like... I mean, just to put this in context, it's like you've got cover here, and what we've done is just do this. Very, very slowly float forward. Of course they're all going to shoot us. Of course they're all going to do that. We could have caused them problems by just staying behind this van, playing like a ground-based hero, and then just ducking in and out, firing. We could have done a number of different things. Luckily, the Mercy gets a good res, picks us both up, picks up the DPS. We should definitely be shooting the Soldier here, not the Hanzo. Don't get me wrong. I hate Hanzo too. I hate Hanzo a lot. I hate Hanzo more than anything probably in this entire game. I loathe the hero. But we need to kill the Soldier 76. And so our first rockets here, when we come up, again, Pharah is an exercise in target priority. Sure, slam a couple of rockets into the Orisa. Okay, she's dead. Nice. It's a good kill. Why am I lagging a little bit? My ping is... Why is my bandwidth dropped? That's very strange. That's very strange and very frustrating. Is something downloading? No. No. Was the res not questionable? We lost the point? Yeah, the res is questionable. I'm not here coaching the Mercy. Yeah, the res is terrible, actually. I actually hadn't noticed you lost the point. I expected these guys to, okay, these guys basically C9'd it. Bandwidth seems to be stabilizing as well. It should be okay. Should be okay. Basically, I was expecting these guys to do the human normal thing of pushing out. Like, the Reinhardt should have just been running out to try and contest this point as long as possible. Looks like someone was pushing it while asleep, which is a shame. So yeah, the Mercy should have probably let this go. You should definitely not commit any more resources to this. Die, let it go. Because the res here is now of no value. So yes, thank you chat for noticing that. I just made an assumption, and you know what they say about assumptions. Regardless, our target priority is still garbage. Because basically, let me put it this way. Let's break it down like this, because this is the easiest way I can make it to, understandable. You have two targets, two choices. If you spend your time trying to kill the Hanzo, that takes a certain amount of time. Let's say it takes 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds to kill the Hanzo. In that 2-second period, chances are the Soldier 76 is going to track you, kill you, done. So even if you kill Hanzo, Soldier's going to kill you. In a 2-second period, the Hanzo, especially plat, gold, fucking who knows if he's going to kill you. Probably not. Probably will. He'll probably just, like, fire off a scatter arrow and then 3 of them will bounce around the whole goddamn Dorado, bounce off the moon and come back and kill you. Who the fuck knows? It's Hanzo, whatever. Odds are, though, he has less chance of killing you than the Soldier 76. If you deal with the Soldier, that gives you better chances to deal with the Hanzo afterwards. If you deal with the Hanzo, Soldier's probably just going to deal with you. So it's this matter of being able to very quickly analyze and break this down. And if you've ever had a chance to talk to Valkyr, I remember having this discussion with him at Gamescom. Like, it's literally all target priority. It's flying up and seeing, okay, to make sure that I can kill everyone, I can kill this, this, and this. And it's that simple. It takes experience, it takes practice, and it takes understanding of knowing what you can get away with and what your boundaries are. But especially while, like, developing, and especially when you're in Gold and Platinum, I reckon you can do this purely off a very, very basic list, a very basic rote list at all. That's, we can see that, okay, don't do this as well, by the way. Odds are the Mercy knows that she fucked up. Maybe she doesn't, but just be very, very careful when doing stuff like this. Because, like, you're tilted because you wasted a res, and it's just like, oh, fucking hell. But be very careful when doing stuff like that, because it can put the other person on tilt. It's fine to do it privately. It's absolutely fine to do it privately. I'll do it to you guys all the time when I'm streaming, going, why the fuck did Zen ult? And the Zen probably knows that he fucked up. Or the Lucio who sound barriered after the points caps knows that he's fucked up. So yeah. Mercies are a weird breed anyway. I'm so thankful she's changing, so thankful she's, you know, going away, because Mercies, basically the way most Mercies operate, and this breaks my heart to say, but most Mercies operate like this. They see a res number higher than 1 or 2, you know, if it's, especially if it's like 3, if it's 4, oh baby, if it's 5, Jesus Christ, oh, and if it's 6, then she's broken the game. So basically they see this number and they've been holding on to this res this entire time, hoping to get a big res, and so the nipples get hard and then they press Q. And that breaks the heart. Yeah. That's going away soon. Cannot wait until it does. Thank God for that. Thank God for small miracles. Either way, like, let's break this T-line down, because it's the first time I had a good look at it. So, highest priority, absolutely. 10 out of 10, highest priority to kill is Soldier 76. You kill Soldier 76, you're going to have an easy time being able to kill the Mercy, kill the Hanzo. Like, if you can get a free kill on the Mercy, if you can kill the Mercy quickly, then sure, do it. And, you know, this isn't like, you, at all times you must obey this. This is a general rule of thumb. Like, if you are coming in to kill, and they haven't noticed you yet, kill Soldier first. Not Mercy. Why not Mercy first? Because if you try and kill Mercy first, Soldier's going to kill you while you kill the Mercy. And you only need to land 2 rockets on the Soldier. If you kill the Mercy and trade for her, okay, sure, but if you kill Soldier, you can kill Mercy, which should be your next priority. And then probably Hanzo. And then probably, I would say, Orisa. Although if you can get the Lucio, then sure. Lucios are a bit tricky. But you can probably just start hitting Orisa in the back as well and just get rid of her really quickly. So, like, after the Soldier goes down, the rest of this stuff, it becomes very easy. It becomes very simple to sort of break through. So I would say Soldier, Mercy, Hanzo, then probably Orisa or Lucio, and then pummel the Hog last, because he's not really a threat to you, and if the rest of these start dropping, your team should be able to kill the Hog. A lot of times I need to prioritize Mercy because she's pocketing what I need to kill. Sometimes that will be the case. In this case, he's very likely to be pocketing the soldier, but even then, you could probably, like, if you land 3 direct hits, or 3 close enough hits, basically, let me put it this way, 3 hits that you should be able to land, if you're playing Pharah, on the Soldier 76 while engaging, he's going to die whether or not he has healing. That's unfortunate. Let's... Bonk. Headshot. That's very unfortunate. I need coffee. 1 second. I'm very thirsty because I'm talking in a very animated way. But yeah. If you can get the Pharah quickly, then if you can get the Mercy very quickly, then get her very quickly, but otherwise, like, you can just blow the soldier up. Don't think that you can't. And if Mercy solo rests the soldier, back out. You've won. Like, that's worth. So this is another opportunity, I'd say, where we can go into stealth mode. Because we have the barrage, we have an opportunity to kill 1 or 2 people very, very quietly. And so by just firing here, we've sort of given the game away, right? Now everyone knows where we are. And like, we still managed to barrage someone down, but imagine instead, if you will, well, where instead of firing the rocket we're about to fire, we just sort of float out this way. And even if the soldier notices us, we probably have an opportunity to get about here, kill the soldier, come up, break the barrier, maybe do something. We're probably still going to lose, we're probably still going to die, but it still seems like a better option to me. Justice and dead. Feels pretty bad, man. Use Conk, then oh, he'd already used Conk to try and get out of spawn. Which, dubious. When they're getting that close to the spawn, it's probably worth holding on to it for a better repossession, but time is of the essence as well, so, like, maybe something to note down, maybe something to keep in mind in future. If they're that close, keep hold of Conk, you probably need it. Reinhardt, go on this fucking payload and contest. You see, the enemy team is running on Orisa comp, and the thing that I've noticed, especially at lower ranks, although this even happens at higher ranks with Orisa comps, is Orisa is beaten, like, Ryan sort of likes my term for this, which is a rush down, and so if they're playing Orisa, and, like, your team had a Reaper and a Pharah, like, if you guys just engage their team at a super close range and just slam into each other, you'll probably win. Even though they had a Roadhog, you'd still probably be okay, the Reaper can handle that. You can't just sort of let the Orisa, because killing Orisa's barrier, because it comes back so quickly, is kind of meaningless. At most, you're going to get like a second or 2 of time to DPS past it, so you've just got to either have a very, very high DPS output team, like a Reaper, Roadhog, and some form of damage amp as well, probably, and just blow through it, or you try and go around it. Dovahkiin. It's not even Dovahkiin, it's Dovahkiin. It's his slightly special brother. I'm the Dovahkiin. Let's see. Here goes the tilt. Idiot takes second tank and help. Yeah. He apparently fucks Hanzo. As Reaper. Interesting. Pharah go for healers. Pharah go for healers. Let's see. Okay. Back out. That was kind of scary. Like, always be careful. So the thing about taking this pathway is that you could just come out here and be a little bit closer and still get the same line of sight on this rooftop without exposing yourself to this rooftop. Like, the one thing I'm always cautious of when I'm watching Pharah footage is, like, how out in the open are we putting ourselves? And we're putting ourselves pretty out in the open here. This does kind of demonstrate the point, though, that, like, Hanzo, he lands an arrow, but, like, even with the soldier shooting at us and a Discord orb, it's not that big a deal. And Winston finishes it all off. Okay. I know it's tempting to hold on to this, but if we need elevation, let's just use it instead of blowing our own faces off. Okay, the dive's gone in. Oh, 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 ah, oh, oh. So that's why this got sent in. My bandwidth has dropped down again. Why? Why am I throttled? Hopefully it's not too bad, guys. Hopefully it's not lagging too badly. Let me try something very quickly. See if I can fix this. On my end, it should be like it shouldn't be doing this, but it is for some reason. I don't quite know why. If I go general, I think no broadcast settings. Right to Amsterdam. Oh, I have to restart streaming for that to work. Why? Now we're back up to 6K, 8K. Now it's back. Okay, it should be fixed now. You guys refresh, it should be okay. I don't know what's doing that. I just don't have anything downloading. Maybe my brother's downloading something. Try hitting refresh when you've all caught up. It'll just put you back on the live show. Very frustrating. Oh! 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 Right. There we go. Right, try refreshing. Should be okay now. Sorry about that, guys. Nothing I can really do about it. It just randomly decides that occasionally I need 2K bit rate. So if you just hit refresh, it should be fine. Right. Right. So let's see. Team is winning. Looks like Dive worked out. Reaper managed to get into a good position. Reaper very good against Orisa. You just get through the barrier and you just kill her. I want to check that dive again. I don't think there was too much better we could have done, but I do want to check it again. It's just there is a target, like we can put a rocket here, for example. Like now is not the time for stealth mode. Now is the time for just slamming shit with rockets, because all our team is in front of us. Like we're on a relatively low priority for their team. Like they have lost this fight. We just want to clean up as fast as possible. So let's push out DPS. We're in cleanup mode, so to speak. Okay then. So, rather than do what we just did, like this is kind of an interesting thing. Rather than being here, one of the strongest things you can do, so especially when we go here and we see that like there's 3 people on the low ground, the way that Phase 2 Dorado works is that, or at least the start of it, he who controls the high ground controls Middle-earth. No, he who controls the high ground controls this area of Dorado. You can basically do a lot of work here by just taking control of this area, getting set up here. And one of the nice things is when you win a fight in a way that you guys just did, where you're kind of just snowballing and just like cleaning up kill after kill after kill after kill after kill. Like they didn't all just die as 6, they went dead, 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 dead. Well, that means they're going to get respawn, 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 right? And what often happens is people will try and they'll quite rightly go, well, that point is lost, so I'm going to go and set up here. And the amount of times, as Pharah especially, you can catch someone on their own up here is actually pretty enormous. Because what we're doing here is basically, if you think about what the enemy team is seeing, they're seeing like, you know, this effect where there's just like a corridor. You know, forgive my shitty foreshortening, but there's just like a corridor for them to shoot down, right? Like, and Pharah is here. Hello, I'm Pharah. And so it's just literally like easy shots, you know, you're framed for them. So they just had to put the crosshair in that alleyway and you're gonna get hit by shit. Meanwhile, you're spamming into all this wide area where they have not tons of space, but they have space to move around and it's a little bit difficult. So just be careful about this and just try and make sure that you are basically when there is an opening to move forward and take ground, you move forward and take ground. And you'll be surprised how often it works out. Because, for example, imagine if we did do that, instead of being here, we would be up here, and we'd be pretty safe. Because they have nothing challenging the high ground. Maybe the winds can get in on us, but we can either move inwards, we can move further back, we can move up, we can use the rooftop of the courthouse, we can do all sorts of cool stuff. But because we have to sort of manually force our way out, then we get stuck out in the open, and then we get killed. So make sure you're using the opportunity. I mean, Gibraltar is like the easiest example. Gibraltar's where people know how to like do this very well, because Gibraltar's a really easy example of doing it, because the door opens and you literally see people generally like going, oh god, bro, we got a really bad respawn, oh no, I gotta run, and you get tons and tons of kills. The same principle basically exists on all these maps. What are the enemy teams?
Thanks for constant good info, smile.
Thank you, Rudu. Okay. So I was kind of making a point here, and then I saw this insanity where the enemy team decided to push all the way to spawn, which is an interesting idea, but done poorly, I fear. This entire fight is batshit, and I like the frantic tapping of tilt. Nice weapon accuracy, by the way. Okay. Ooh, Hanzo doing work apparently. Okay. Let's talk about why what the enemy team doing is so weird. The Winston bouncing around here is not too big of a problem. The fact that, like, 3 people are in range to get caught by that grav is kind of a problem. We ult, they use Transcendence. Fair enough. I think that ult is fine. I think that ult is perfectly fine. Forces them to use Trance. Whatever. It's good. Again, the trap of this alleyway is we frame ourselves. And, like, Mercy does the same. She, like, runs around the corner and... Like, Hanzo literally is just shooting down in this alleyway. I mean, he sees you come in due to the Sonic and then just puts arrows into the alleyway, and his arrows are so broad that he can just hit you no matter what, because it's Hanzo and fuck aiming, apparently. Okay, good. We're using some cover. Raining some shots in. We should just wait for our team to respawn here. We shouldn't be going to aggro. Like, what we're doing now is actually very, very dangerous, because it's an Orisa. Case in point. Case in fucking point. This to me is a sign of tilt, which is super weird because you guys took the first point in pretty good time. You guys took the first point faster than they did. They use Transcendence to survive an ult combo. Fine, fair enough. The danger is when you start going super far forward, especially against an Orisa, is they can punish this so well, and poking in general is so dangerous against like Orisa Hanzo that was only ever going to end one way. That was only ever going to end one way. Things are not being helped by Dovahkiin. Swapping to that, and then suddenly this isn't a Pharah coaching the many anymore. It's a Genji coaching the many. Honestly, we would have been okay probably staying on the Pharah, to be honest. Like, give me Reaper, but this Reaper is doing goddamn work. Same logic applies, however. Target priority. This is a sign that tilting is occurring as well. Like, Reaper's getting work done, and honestly, we don't need to engage here. This is an over-engagement. Because they've just rezzed, so the value of, like... The value of any kill right now is just sunk, because if you kill Mercy, well, she's already rezzed, the damage is already done. And it's kind of a natural position that we end up surrounded by 4 people and we just die. So we needed to be a little bit more patient, wait for a better opportunity, and just... relax a little bit. Yeah. Dovahkiin announcing earlier on as well, I'm going to fuck the Hanzo, and as someone in chat rightfully points out, Keria points out, Hanzo remains unfucked, which is a shame. I honestly think you would have done better on the Pharah here, and Bond even says, okay, and also we need to talk about crosshairs, friend. Brent, you've sneezed, like Genji has sneezed on his visor or something. Let me find a point where this shows up better. There we go, that's nice. Genji's got a stain on his visor, clearly, on that little fucking mask of his. He's got a stain in the middle of it. Kindly wipe that off. Small dot is all you need to center it. You don't need... You don't need a pimple. Come on. Come on. It's like Cruise, okay? Cruise is Soldier 76. Crosshair is literally... It's just a circle and it expands. Like, it has the hit thing where it expands and shrinks. Just... I'm not a big fan of that crosshair. I think that you are just blocking an unnecessary volume of the screen. If you need a reference where the center of the screen is, fine, fair enough. But you don't need it that large. I'm actually fine with the Junkrat here. The team is playing relatively sort of clustered and close together. Junkrat will work fine here. Good, just avoid that. Get some juicy right clicks on this Winston. Punish him for his hubris. Good. Okay. Don't overextend here. You've got no tank in front of you. Reaper's about to do something stupid. Gets an ultimate for it and 2 kills, which is fair enough. Now we can just swing in and sweep up. The thing is, Reaper could have waited about 10 seconds and then had a good push instead of just wasting that. But hey, we can still do stuff with it. Be very careful when making moves like this. Both of our cooldowns are down and we jumped out into like the middle of the open. If a Reese or a Hanzo could hit shit, we would be dead at the moment. Like, we've had to pull our Mercy into a really terrible location just to sort of keep us alive. So be very careful about going too far forward when your cooldowns are off. Genji's he's a little bit like Doomfist in that regard. He's very reliant on his cooldowns to actually be able to do stuff. Mercy with a good tempo res. Okay. This is actually fine for us as well. Deflect? No. Okay. We get a bit lost here. Bruce Banner's nips. I like it. Right. The weird thing here is, like, your team is in such a strong position with how this went. I don't think you even need to ult here. This is a game sense thing. Like, this is that mysterious force in the ether called game sense. Mercy's jumped in, and the thing with res is, like... The way to view this is like this. If I start my drawings again, we've got a corner like this. So this is just all corner, 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 corner. We don't care about this corner. Blue is our team, and red is their team. Our team is like all here, okay? This is our team. Their team is currently all around here. Okay? So right now we're sort of fighting around this corner. We're trying to push the payload around this corner. What Mercy's done is she's come through and she's res someone like here. What this means is that your team, and it's an Orisa as well, which is sort of the really nice thing for you guys, because it's a big chunky target, stood in the middle of your team, can only defend from one side. What's everyone about to do? What is everyone about to do? Everyone is about to turn around and kill this Orisa. Like, it's literally that simple. You guys don't need an ult to do that. You don't need a Dragon Blade to do that. You can just stay calm and just right-click into her head a couple of times. She's going to die. And as long as your tanks don't go crazy, and this is plat, what am I saying? Your tanks are going to go crazy. But as long as your tanks don't go crazy, let's pretend that, you know, tanks do sensible things every once in a while. And just protects. If you even have a tank at this point, I have no idea. Yeah, this Orisa's dead. This Mercy's probably dead and has already thrown away all her value. And then you guys just keep pushing the payload. Instead, what ends up happening is we go crazy. We do basically what Mercy's done. We dash into the enemy team with a Dragon Blade out, and they just kill the fucking Genji. Kind of sucks to be us, to be honest. Like, Mercy dies immediately. Orisa dies almost immediately. Does die immediately. And we end up going down to the Soldier 76, because we're the only thing for him to shoot, and honestly, we're the highest value thing for him to shoot. Reaper tries to follow us up, dies as well. Bad time. And this is sort of the weird part about that decision, is by engaging their team directly, and instead of just burning down the 2 quick kills that just fed themselves into your team, you basically push your team towards engaging their team directly at a time when you just needed tanks to step forward and block and protect, or just absorb damage, or just hide behind the payload and wait it out. Nice rocket, by the way. And that actually pushed your team towards losing the fight, more so than just throwing away a Dragon Blade. Nice to see that we're back on the Pharah, although this is a tricky space for Pharah, although there's some good angles. One thing I would have just noticed is... This is where observation comes in handy. I want you guys to keep track, because there's stuff coming from this way. And then please tell me what hero is to our left. So eyes open, eyes open, eyes open. And you can just see the projectiles. Did you see it? I saw it. I saw it because I've trained myself to look for shit like this, because it's super important to look for shit like this. There it is. Actually, if I go back... Oh god, you two, please. No, Zenyatta, there's a couple of people pointing out. But Zenyatta is to our left. One of the highest value targets in the game is literally stood behind us in an area where he can easily be killed, and we have not noticed him. Yeah. And somehow he's I think what he did was went under and got saved by his team, but he's there. Pay attention for Zens. Zens are super high prio. Super high prio. Easy to kill. Puts a debuff on us. If you kill him, it's a huge amount of power removed from the fight on behalf of the enemy team. And yeah. I can also see frustration. Okay, let's try and sort of talk about dealing with frustration. I see frustration in like the tapping of tab, which that feels more like a frustration on ourselves at that moment of like why the fuck did I try and go for that, and why did I die? This fight is done. Do not go in, do not go in. Okay. I'm not gonna say like don't get angry or don't get frustrated. What the fuck does that help? You know not to get angry or frustrated, but it happens. You're human beings. The key is to understand when you are getting frustrated, when you are feeling angry, and understanding the kind of mistakes people make when they're frustrated. It's decision-making stuff. It's stuff like doing this, where people will, like, they're frustrated, so they're gonna go, well, I'm just gonna go fucking kill them then. I'm just gonna go do it. I used to do this all the goddamn time. All the time. It was one of my biggest issues coming out of, I'd say, early beta, coming out of beta in general, was this instinct to sort of go in and try and, like, kill people. Try and focus people down. You can see it, right? Like, our decision-making feels sloppy, and then we're just getting ourselves even angrier. We do a good job. We spot an isolated target, and honestly, we would have probably been better just staying in the air instead of dropping low. I mean, what's this Hanzo going to do? We know exactly what he's going to do. He's pretty clear about his intentions, right? Like, he's running towards these walls. He's going to come up on these walls. If we stay floating up here, it's harder for him to hit us. He's moving towards us. We still have a good angle on the wall. It's all good. But we make this little bit of a silly decision because we're angry. And it's just a matter of, like, learning to see your frustration and then learning what your habits are when you're frustrated. So what I'd say is this: your habits are pretty simple. You tend to overextend. You tend to you try and take like one-on-one fights for no good reason, because you think, well, I'm just going to beat this guy, and then that's going to give us the team the angle that we need, and so on. And what's nice is seeing you already sort of deal with this stuff, where you stop and wait here, and you be patient. Like, this is good. This is good. What you want to do, but maintain that patience. Don't sort of start going in until the tanks are in position. Otherwise, you're going to do what this Junkrat just did. Junkrat's a living example of it. Now this is desperation. Good rockets. Good rockets. Okay. You have just opened the game up for your team completely. We should be thinking about barrages here. Do that, Mercy. Boom! Yes! Good, 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 good. And Zarya's even protecting us. Holy shit. That isn't play of the game, I don't know what is. Please don't C9, thank you. Okay! Oh! Pretty respectable. Shout out to the Zarya for shielding us. Shout out for Soldier for running into the rocket. But good. The thing with this situation is you had to do this, which is fair enough. Like, because there's only 10 seconds in the game and that Junkrat dying, like, there's no other options, right? You know, this is what people call clutch or quit, and congratulations, you clutched. So yeah, LeMayo indeed. So my advice right now is to try and look for ways to win, and try and look for ways to stabilize your team. If you really are super keen on winning at this point, and willing to be outspoken, you remind your team that your first point attack was pretty good. Your first point attack basically smashed them. You took the first point in pretty much one push. They took it in about 4 or 5. So honestly, this is still pretty good for you guys. As long as you guys have a similar first push to what you had before, you guys are fucking fine. In the first 3 minutes of the game, you pushed it way further than they did. So you can just keep this going, and keep this going, and keep this going, and keep this going. You're actually pretty strong. So I think you're actually in an alright position. In what game or tournament did Cloud9 create the C9 meme team? I'm not sure actually, I can't remember the exact one. Ugh, okay. We clashed it for our team. Durvakin has his Reaper. This better be the most spectacular fucking... I better be just rapturous about this Reaper. Judging by the amount of bullshit this guy's been spreading to poor Shadow Fox. He's been doing a pretty good job. Like, he's been doing fine. They have a Diva. That's a little bit scary for us. So again, this is where we want to be thinking about... Okay. So there's a kind of a cool thing we can do.
Welcome to Overwatch.
Hey, Zabiris. Much love, my man.
Pew pew.
9 months. Oh, another stream babby. We got so many stream babs this month. What did I do 9 months ago to pull so many people in? Thank you so much, guys. So one of the things we can do as Pharah is this is also the advantage of sort of coming this route. And this is where, like, this is one of those instances where I would say, like, a rocket jump is actually pretty good. So, like, you jump and rocket shoot the floor, just give yourself a little bit of an extra boost. A little bit of a momentum kick, come up here, and then try and get a good angle. Because what you can do is, if you hit a concussive blast behind the enemy team and knock stuff down, extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Started streaming, yeah, I think so. I think that's when I started doing Overwatch streams more full-time. Or whatever crazy schedule I'm on at the moment. Because imagine if you, like, and that's a Bastion comp as well. Oh boy. Okay. Shadow Fox is going to have a bad fucking time. We would definitely want to make sure our angles are pretty close then. Like, we cannot have any time when we are just flying around. This is the danger of trying to do stuff like this. You got, like, you can see right now, if you think about the team lineup we have, the amount of damage that's going to hit this barrier is going to be a Zarya, probably on no charge. And now the Reaper, who's closing on the back, he's not shooting the barrier, he's shooting the Bastion. So what we want to be doing is more getting into position where we can help this Reaper blow the shit out of this Bastion. Because if you kill this Bastion, the entire team can't cracks open. What we're doing right now is we're leaving Reaper to die. Reaper kills Bastion somehow and then gets killed. We could have been helping with that. I'd say Mercy or Zen would be our higher priority here. This was sloppy. This was extremely sloppy. This is probably the sloppiest thing we've done. Isn't good. Because this is the moment when we need to keep our cool and understand what we need to be doing. So, let's see. So again, we pop up 3 targets. Okay? What immediately jumps out to me is this. Mercy's in a corner with 2 walls behind her. You can literally just aim your rockets here, because the fun thing about Mercy's is when they're in danger, they jump towards something. Like, they go towards stuff. This is very useful if you're playing Widowmaker, by the way, because you know where Mercy's going to go. She's going to fucking Guardian Angel to this Hanzo or the Zen. And so if you just aim your rocket here, chances are pretty fucking good. You nail 1 rocket on her, she's going to fly this way. You put a rocket here, she's going to die. Pretty straightforward, right? Pretty simple. After that, you can deal with the Zen. After that, you can deal with the Hanzo. If you kill the Mercy here, and then you get a good angle on the Zen, whew, your team wins. Your team just pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes, doesn't stop. Instead, we target the Hanzo that's being healed. Luckily, Zen does something very stupid, which is jump down in front of your team. Unfortunately, your team doesn't notice, and Zen slips away into the ether. Then we get completely lost. There we go. He's in front of us, soldier. No, we're looking for him, but he's in front of us. There we go. Diva is demeched. Okay, good. Soldier. It's going to be hard to kill. It's going to be very, very hard to kill. Okay. Maybe we're looking for the Hanzo instead. What program does he use to write with the gameplay? It's a program called Epic Pen. It's a very, very good program. Could heartily recommend it. Okay. Like, breaking the D.Va is good. The one realization here is that this guy is probably not going to die, so what you should be looking to do, what I would say try and do here, because he's got an orb and his heal field, we're basically going to have to wait for this to go away. Like, you're going to need 3 direct hits on the Soldier 76, and by the time you land them at this distance, he's going to kill you first. So, thinking in terms of, like, time to kill, this guy probably has better chances to kill us before we kill him, especially if the D.Va or Zen starts to help out as well. Maybe we can go this way and stand up here. That way we have some cover, we have somewhere to hide, and then when this heal pad runs out, then we can come back out and keep fighting. We force the soldier then into an awkward position where he has to chase us, or he has to go and fight our team. He's probably going to fight our team, so we come out behind him and we kill him then. We end up bouncing back, we go for the Hanzo, Hanzo gets us, it's Hanzo. On the bright side, your team almost gets it to the end of first point. I don't see this going too much better. Getting speed boosted, okay, maybe there's a silver lining here. Maybe. Still have 2 on the point. Slamming some DPS in. And Hanzo nails us in the head. Hanzo. I hate Hanzo so very much. Oh! Close. Close. Very close. Okay. I'm not going to move the mouse. I don't want to see whether... I want to see, like, how far you can get this. Because I think you guys can still hold this. This is perfectly winnable. Perfectly winnable. How do you prevent the other team pushing the cart all the way from spawn in plat with only 1 minute left? You play around them having 1 minute left. So if they start pushing the cart in overtime, try and play the game as like an economics factor. Like, try and play it to make sure that you have a string of ultimates that they cannot beat. So basically, as long as you stop the card at some point, it's fine. This is more important to do. This is more important to understand if you have like 1 minute, or if they have 1 minute and you have like 5, but they're pushing all the way through the map somehow. Then just understand that if you win a single team fight, that's it. That's done. All you have to do is win 1 team fight. But all you should be doing is preparing to win that 1 team fight. I mean, ideally on like King's Row, on a hybrid map, or on a map like Dorado, you want to hold them at the first choke or something similar. But you can afford to, like, once overtime kicks in and they're still pushing, just get 6 ultimates and just fucking win. Like, that's the plan. Try and bait out ultimates from them. Try and bait out the support ultimates, for example, and then just win. May's a very good way of doing it. 9 months ago, the Amazon Prime sub option became available. That might be it. Okay, just slam into rockets in. The fact that we're just keeping flexible with our positioning. A very, very important thing to do here. Oh, for fuck's sake. An important thing to do here is to keep our ears open. Listen for anything coming in behind us. It's not remiss to check every so often. Think about it this way. What beats us? How do we lose this? Either they brute force through the barrier and kill everything, which is going to be difficult with a D.Va and a Bastion shooting down. They don't have that much time to shoot stuff. Hey, W2 Best as well. Much love, my man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure that's Twitch Prime, right? Yeah, make sure you're claiming your loot boxes. Get your loot boxes. So the only thing that could really beat us is if something comes in beneath us. So we've got to be listening intently for that. The second you see that kill on the Mercy, you've got to go, huh. And that kind of does happen, but like he's already there and he's just killing everything. Feels pretty bad, man. Feels pretty bad, man, indeed. You guys just got decimated by a single fucking Hanzo. Who throws up the Lamo, I'm assuming, or Lamau, in response. I always read it as Lamo. I don't know if I'm alone in that. You gotta watch the flank. See, even he's giving you the same advice. You gotta watch the flank. I'm apparently deaf, yes. You're also deaf. That Hanzo fucking won them that game. But yeah, if you're running that comp, like, on the... What? Understand that that is the thing that beats you. That is absolutely the thing that beats you. Wow. Wow. Nice play, XD. Okay. The reason why that got play of the game, by the way, is because it was a shutdown, so he stopped an ultimate. It was damage boosted, a little bit of extra damage, and then it was an ultimate that he used near the end of the map, or near the end of the match, which was ranked very highly in their priorities, which is kind of frustrated. Hanzo's relatively quiet in his footsteps, but like just taking a moment every so often, like fire a few rockets and then just step back a little bit, look below. You'd be surprised, because if the enemy team as well is pushing like that, odds are not all 6 are going to be pushing straight ahead. So if you catch that one person as they're trying to get out that doorway, you'll be able to kill them every single time. Dorado's a tricky map, but yeah, frustrating way to sort of lose things, especially because it's to a bloody Hanzo. Right. Hanzo has 62 eliminations. Yes, he does. 62% kill participation. Yeah, he played well. To his credit, he did his job. He did good enough. If you guys had a Reinhardt the entire time and just defended, you'll probably be fine. What I would say to you in particular, Bundy, is, again, target priority. If you aren't already, go and watch people like Valkyr. If not Valkyr, then find other Pharah players. If you don't like Valk or whatever, go find other Pharah players to watch. If you're watching pro-level games, like especially watch out for anything on Oasis American games, North American games, I would recommend watching. They play a lot of Pharmacy. See what those Pharahs are doing. See how they're playing. See, Valkyrie is like a super aggressive Pharah. You can try and model your play off that. You can be a bit more passive, a bit more pokey. Depends on how you want to do things, but try and just keep an eye on how they're doing stuff. Target priority, target priority, target priority. Every single time you engage something, make sure that you are putting it through the filter of target prio. You've got to get this down, you've got to get this correct, otherwise you're going to lose every single time. Your accuracy seems fine, it's just like decision making and frustration that seems to be the big problem. You get rid of those, you could be in a good position, especially with the Mercy buffs coming in, which is going to definitely make Pharmacy more common. Otherwise, okay, now it's time to start asking some questions. I'm going to start answering questions in chat, so at ESL_OneAmongstMany, and that should work fine. Ask me questions about Pharah, Dorado, target priority, whatever you want to start asking. I'm going to load up the game, and then we'll start taking questions for part 2. Can you recommend a passive Pharah? Not particularly, not off the top of my head, unfortunately. I mean, Valk is the only one that really, like,